Hello and welcome back to another episode of Handy Dandy Repairs. Today's a little bit different. We're not actually going to do a repair, or maybe we'll see how we go for time. But I've seen a lot of people recently posting like Aliexpress hauls and like showing off some of the things that they've ordered from Aliexpress, and I happened to treat myself for Christmas. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do a bit of an Aliexpress haul and just have a look at some of the things that I've ordered related to repair and that sort of thing. So let's go over here first and we'll take a look. Alright, so item number one. Bit of a mystery gamble of what we get, because obviously everything's just in plain packaging, so I'm not sure what's in each bag, but we'll figure it out as we go. So here we have, ooh, this I'm actually very excited about. This is a tool for the soldering iron. Now this will attach to our iron, and it is shaped to suit a joystick on a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller, whatever other controller you've got. So I think I should have one lying around here somewhere. Okay, so I've got a controller board here, so I can just chuck this in the holder. Now the idea is that this is shaped so it fits. Let me just zoom in a bit so you can see a bit easier. So the shape of this matches the shape of the joystick there. So the idea is this just sits on there like so, and it should heat up all the joins at the same time. So then hopefully we'll be able to just pull the joystick out, even slide a new one in possibly, and it should make life much easier. At least that's the plan. So we'll see if it sort of goes to plan, and give that a quick test now. So this one here is a 245 tip, so that will fit our 245 iron which we've got here. But first I'm just going to use my normal tip, and we're going to add a little bit of flux. And we're just going to add some leaded solder just to lower the melting temp a little bit. Now the main reason I wanted to do that is because I've heard very mixed reviews about these. So I really wanted to give it the best possible chance. So let's see if we can just sit this up a little bit higher. We should be able to just grab a pair of tweezers. That's pretty solid there. So we'll heat this up. Let's see, it's smoking. I don't know if we need to tin it or not. I'm not too sure. But we'll see how we go. Okay, nothing as yet. Might need to just put a bit more force down, so we'll take it off there. And we'll try again here. There we go. That kind of worked pretty well. Gonna need to get a better board holder, I think, something that's a bit higher. But I also might try, don't know how well this is going to work, but if I could grab it standing up like this, not sure how well that's going to work, but if we could sort of come in with heat from one side and the joystick from the other side, that would be ideal. But I'm not sure how well that's going to go. But certainly work to remove them, so might also be better to go the other way, heat from the bottom. So have it sort of that way, heating from the bottom, but that would be hard to do unless we hang it off the edge of the bench. But then you wouldn't be able to see if you're lined up either. So I mean, it did work. reasonably well. There's no melting to the bottom of that. It's come off quite cleanly actually. It hasn't melted the plastic at all. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with that. The real test will be getting one back on. So let me just grab a new one here. And we'll see how this goes. Putting one on is going to be the difficult part though, because it's always hard to not only line everything up but also make sure that everything is, all your pins are straight enough to allow them to go through. If the board was a bit stiffer, it would work. So I just need a better holder, I think. But I had it in and then I couldn't sort of pull the heat away without pushing the board over. Inspect those and have a quick look at that. It is sitting pretty flat, so I'm pretty happy with that. The solder joins aren't too bad. One or two of the ground holes could maybe use a little bit more solder, but otherwise that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. I could just add a little bit of solder under there, but I think overall that worked pretty well. Yeah, that's really it. I'm just going to grab I'll give it a quick clean and we'll go into the scope and inspect it properly. So here's where we are, and honestly I'm pretty pleased with those joins. Overall I think they look pretty good. If we look at the other side, we can see that it's sitting reasonably flat. Probably could have pushed down a little bit more, but overall it's pretty good. And I think the other reason it's not pushed all the way down is because I couldn't apply enough pressure to it, at least not evenly, purely because the board holder wasn't very secure. So with a more solid board holder, I think this would have worked really well. So yeah, that's something to invest in next, I guess. I'll need to get a more secure board holder, especially something for this. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with that. I'll reassemble that controller and calibrate it all and make sure it actually is working and stuff. But yeah, overall, I'm impressed. It did work, and I've heard very mixed reviews on it, so I wasn't too sure what to expect. But yeah, no, overall that's quite good. And that was at what's that? 420 degrees. I had that set to. So could turn it up a little bit or down a little bit depending on what you're doing. But I think adding the little bit of the little bit of leaded solder certainly helped in that situation. And I don't think a lot of people do that, and that's probably why they have the issues that they do. So if you are going to buy one of these tools and use it, then I highly recommend adding a little bit of leaded solder before you attack it. But yeah, overall, very impressed, very happy with that. So let's move on to the next one. So this is our next one. What we have in here is an Xbox 360 opening tool. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's to be able to open and work on Xbox 360s. I've got a few of them on the shelf that I will get to eventually, but at the moment I'm quite backed up, so that'll probably be a little while away. So, on to the next one. And we have, let's get it open. We have a tinning probe, reballing solder bar. So basically what this is, again, this is one of those things I've heard very mixed reviews on, so we will, oh look at that, it comes with a few different tips. I think they're all the same, just comes with a few replacement tips, so that's good. So we'll take one of them out. Now I believe these are designed to help you tin pads on a board. Now, because it's a ball, the surface area is quite small. The surface area is quite large, but it doesn't hold on to solder. Apparently, it's designed to spread solder really well. Again, this is just what I'm told. I don't know how it works. And the difference is, I know you can get this sort of tip. You can see that ball on the end. I know you can get that for a soldering iron, but not one that suited my iron. So this is designed to be used in conjunction with hot air. So the idea is you add some solder and then apply hot air, and you can tin it quite nicely with this. So that's something we'll probably test in the future. For now, let's move on. A solder sucker. Now these, I actually already have one of these, very similar, probably a different brand, but I do already have one, and I love these ones because they work really well. They have a silicone tip on the end, you see that, and that gives you a nice tight seal to the board, and because of that they work really well. But this one, the end is cracked and damaged, and yeah, I didn't know. When you buy them, they do come with spare tubes. You can see in there's 2 spare tubes, so you can cut your own nozzles. Yeah, that's great, but I don't know what to do with the replacements, and the whole item I think was about $7 Australian, so it seemed worth it to just buy a whole new one, and now I can have 2. I'll use this silicone to put in a nozzle on this one, and then I'll have 2 that I can use. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a solder sucker. You can watch any one of my videos. I use that all the time. Next up, we have a box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Right? If you get that reference, we can totally be friends. This is a lens for the microscope. Obviously, I already have a lens on the microscope because I use the microscope, but this is a 130 times zoom. And the one I'm currently using, I believe, is 180 times. So this one's just going to allow me to zoom out a little bit, see a bit more of the board. I originally, when I first started making videos, I was using 130 times zoom, and but it wasn't an adjustable one. So this was the one I was originally using. This is what came with the microscope, and then I changed to the 180mm lens that I've got now, and it's just a bit too zoomed in for me. So now I've got this 130 one. So we'll see how that looks. Maybe we'll do that right now. We'll have a quick look under the scope. So this is all the way zoomed out. So you can just see all of the joystick. You can, like all the joystick pads, you can sort of see all that. And then if I zoom all the way in, you can see all 3. You can just squeeze all 3 connections in. Alright, so that's the 180 times lens. That's the one I'm currently using now. So let me just pause this recording. I'll quickly swap that over. Okay, so now this is the 130 times zoom lens. So you can see it's about the same. However, if we zoom in, we zoomed in all the way, we actually get a bit more height out of it. We're a bit higher off the board than we were. But also we can zoom all the way back out. And look how much more of the board we can see now. We also have a lot more working height between our piece and our scope, which is really good because it allows me to get my solder sucker in there, or whatever else I need to get in there. So yeah, so far I really like it. The light's a bit sensitive to the light. Turn that off, there we go. Now look at that, that looks much better, honestly. That looks really good. We can still zoom in just as far if we need to. But when we're working on bigger components, then being able to zoom back out will be super helpful. Especially doing things like Wi-Fi ICs and South bridges and that sort of thing, we'll be able to see the whole chip. So yeah, very happy with that. Thought I'd do a quick comparison. So this is the 180 times zoom that I was using, this is the 130 new one, and then this is the 130 original. So this is the not adjustable. This one's not adjustable zoom. As you turn it, as you rotate it like this, it simply adjusts the focus, not the zoom. These ones adjust the zoom. So, moving on to the next item. There are quite a few things in here, so we'll go through them one at a time. Starting with this. This is a ceramic scraper. So this I bought so when I'm using my reballing stencils, I can use this to spread the paste because it's not magnetic. So now I've got this, it'll allow me to spread the paste nicely, and yeah, that was the plan anyway. That was the idea of getting that. So that'll go as part of our reballing kit. Next up, ooh, this one I'm actually very excited about. I've seen this one. This one came from somebody else's video. I can't remember who recommended this one, but I'm pretty sure I did order it through their affiliate link because it looked so good. So this is a ring light. So if I go to this one, you'll see here on the bottom of my scope I have a ring light. So this is going to replace that one, and the main reason for that is this one is polarized. So it should allow us to see things a lot clearer. We're just going to quickly unbox this so you can see what it is, and then I'll swap it over and we can do a comparison. So this is it. So it's got the polarization on the bottom, I believe. You can rotate it either way. Okay, so just yeah, I don't know if that's coming across on camera, but you can see how it's getting lighter and darker in there. Yeah, so you can adjust the polarization. So yeah, we'll see how that looks. What difference that makes to our viewing. This is all for you guys. This is what it's all about. There's our screws to mount it. Good. And we've got our cable here, which allows us to adjust our brightness as well. So that should be good. And it looks like it powers this with USB-C. So that's good. Alright, so I'm just going to pause the video real quick and I'll get this mounted up and then we can have a look at the comparison. So let's get the board back in again so we can do a comparison. This is our board here. What chips have we got? We've got a chip there. So you can't really see that. That's with the light off. Turn the light on and it honestly makes it also extremely hard. No matter what brightness we do, it makes it very hard to see. Now I do have my anti-glare light that I usually use, and that does help a little bit, but it's also a bit far away to actually do its purpose. If I bring it in nice and close, it works quite well, but because it's at the other side of my bench, because I don't want it to be in the way, it doesn't do its job very well. So that is where the microscope, the polarized one, comes in. So here we are back at the same chip. So we'll turn our light up. It doesn't make it too easy to see, but if we adjust that polarization, look at that. Look how clear that is to read. Wow. Wow, that's so good. Like, how could you not read that chip? Wow, that's cool. There's almost no need for the anti-glare light anymore. This does it for you. I mean, look at all that flux on the board there, and you can't even see it. You see straight through it. Let me just test that. Let me add some fresh flux. And I'll just come in with the iron real quick just to heat it up and spread it out so it's liquid. And look at that. Can't even see it, but look at the glare and that with it, without it. Wow, that's cool. But being able to read chips, my God, that's impressive. Wow, that's cool. Well, I don't know about you, but I already love that one. I'm gonna have to neaten up the wiring and stuff later, but that's very cool. So, huge shout out to whoever it was that recommended that. If I can find the link to the video I found it on in the description. If I can find the link, sorry, I will put it in the description. So, huge shout out to whoever that was that recommended that, because I'm very, very glad that I bought it. So, what else is in here? Some 3M double-sided stickers. That's irrelevant. That's not for this. That's just for me to install the dash cam in my car. Next up, we've got this is just some Kapton tape. Don't use it too often, but maybe one day I will. Let's just peel a little bit off. I've never really had a need for it, but I know some people live by this stuff. I don't know if it's just out of fear or just caution that they tape up everything around the chip that they're working on. So let's just see what kind of temps, what kind of heat it can take. Start at 150 degrees. No melting yet. So we'll go up to 250 degrees. Still pretty solid. $350 degrees. So far, pretty good. We'll go up to 440, which is what I usually use most of the time. See it's stretching a little bit there, but it's not burning up or anything. That's pretty impressive. And then 480. You know, I actually think it's a silicone mat that's bowing, not the tape. The tape is actually not melting at all. The tape is perfect. Yeah, it's the silicone mat itself that's lifting. Wow, that's actually quite impressive. I'm pretty pleased with that, because I actually have some that I bought a long time ago. This is one that I purchased in the past. Let me see if I can find the end of that. So this was purchased with the same intention, but I found it didn't really work, and I wasn't sure if that was because I had my temps too high, because I had my heat too close, because I just wasn't using it correctly, or if the tape was bad. So now that I've seen the way that performs, I think it's just the tape, to be honest. Let's compare real quick. There you go, you can see that one's melted right through. And this one is just taking it like a champ. And that's why I didn't like this tape. And I guess it was just the one that I purchased. So good to know that I actually have some Kapton tape now that will do the job that it's meant to. Get that off my bench. It's still in literally perfect condition. It's still sticky and everything. Wow. The silicone mat's a bit warm. The tape is perfect. So yeah, very impressed. I will out with the old, I guess, and the new one's going to replace that, so that can go in the bin because it clearly doesn't do its job, and we'll hang on to that one. Shit thing is I actually bought it in 3 different sizes too, so they can go in the bin as well. Alright, next up. Ooh, here we go. This is a holder for, you probably guessed, my reballing stuff. So it was currently just in this drawer here. Don't know if the magnet will fit in on it, but the magnet can go in on its own. And these can go down this end. So what do we got? We've got one for RAM, a couple of chips in there actually. This one is for the APU core. We have one for the South Bridge on the PS5, one for the SSD controller of the PS5, a couple of spare scrapers, the main scraper that we'll be using, we also have a universal silicone one, and just some universal ones. Oh, there's another RAM one, and a whole bunch of universals. So now we can keep them organised like so. I can sit them up on my bench here, and I can have another drawer back for storage. Alright, anything else in this bag? There is a few more things, and that's it. So we'll start with this one. So these should be interesting. These are actually just some silicone plugs, all different sizes and shapes, but the main one we're interested in is, I'm not sure if they're labelled, they are, that's USB, HDMI, this is the one we're after. So what this is intended for, because it's silicone and heat resistant, is when we're installing a port, we can install it in the port, and hopefully it'll keep the inside of the port from getting filled up with so much flux, and also keep it a bit cooler in there. Try and keep the heat away from there so we don't melt any plastic inside the port. At least that's the intent, so hopefully that works out okay. And we've also got some VGA, SD card slots, USB-C, micro USB, USB-A, all that sort of thing. RJ45s, and yeah, a whole bunch of different ones, but the main one we were after there is the HDMI, and then I've ordered 2 kits of them, so we've got a couple of spares. So we'll just put them back in the bag here. The ones that we're not going to use. The HDMI one I think we'll leave on the bench, and we'll give that a test out another day. And this here, this is just an alcohol bottle. A bottle to put my IPA in. Comes with needles, I believe. Yep. Put the needle on there, and that can probably slide over the top of it and hold it all together. But then if you're not using a needle, you can just pop that off and probably just use this piece, which is probably what I'll do. I don't think I need the needle. So that's a protective cover for the needle. So we'll just stick with this bit, I think, and this is just to put some IPA in so I can apply some IPA to the board when I'm giving it a scrub or whatever. Just to replace this one, because this one's broken and cracked and it leaks. So that can go in the bin, and we'll replace it with this one. And it's got a nice nifty lid on it, which is helpful. So I'll quickly fill that up with IPA. So that's full, it's got a lid on now, so as we can see, it doesn't leak, which is good. Take the lid off and it squirts out just nicely. I use this a lot when I'm cleaning the bench especially. Cleaning off the liquid metal and thermal paste and whatever else I've got around here. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Cool. Oof. Ineezy Tweezers. Big shout out to Joey Does Tech for recommending these. These are the best tweezers I've ever used for really tiny capacitors, really tiny components. They hold them so well. Even at 99% airflow, I don't lose them, I don't drop them, I keep them in place, I hold on to them. I can give you a quick demonstration. And we'll pick a component, any component that looks at us funny. Let's go this one right here, this tiny little thing right here. For comparison, here's the size of my tweezers, so you can see how small that component is. I'm going to set my hot air to 400 degrees, we'll go 380 degrees, sorry. And 99% airflow, just so you can see that even at the highest airflow speed, I can hold it, control it, don't lose it. Even when you're trying to let it go, you can't. It just grips it so well. So yeah, got a couple of pairs of them. I use them all the time, so they're super helpful to have. Next up, this one's a bit heavy, I'm not sure what's in here. Ooh, drill bits. Lovely. Good timing too, because I actually just snapped. I don't know if it's going to focus on it, but I've actually just snapped the bit that I use all the time, which is a T9. So that can go in the bin, and we can replace it with this T9. TT9. That just means it's got the hole on the end of it. The security bit. But yeah, the TT9 and the TT8 be the ones I use the most. So I'll just bring both of them out. Probably the only ones I use, to be honest. But good to have the whole kit just in case, you never know. And these are obviously impact rated as well. Not that I use the impact on console screws, but it just means they're a bit stronger, a little less likely to snap. A little bit stronger as well. Also helps with stopping for strip screws and things like that, so very helpful. What else is in this bag? A couple more things in here. That's it. So this one here is, ooh, quite excited about this actually. If you noticed in my last video, I had to repair a few traces on an Xbox Series X HDMI port. This is a grinding pen. So let's go under the scope real quick. So this is my current tip, and this is the new tip. So you can see it's rounded on the end, so it's like a burr, but also it's much smaller. So I'm going to get much more precise grinding. So that's just going to go in my grinding pen. And we can replace this. Slot the new one in. And that's that. Still keep that one there, let me grab a donut board real quick. Let's just go over. Let's just go right here, shall we? So we've got a few traces here. and it chews through them like nothing. Almost too quickly, honestly. It's extremely powerful, even on the lowest setting. It would not take long before we went through the trace. Which I'm just going to demonstrate here. So you can see there I've gone through the trace. Let's just go on this pad here. You see copper's exposed immediately. Such light pressure on the lowest speed, and you're almost tearing through traces, so you're gonna have to be very careful with that, but it is quite nice. Let me just adjust it a little bit. Let me feed it a little bit further in. Might make it a little bit more precise. Yeah, it does a little bit. Give a little bit right there. Well, it's exposed it nicely. Hasn't torn through it. It's just, yeah, you definitely need to be careful with it. It's very, very powerful. Because it is a burr shape, it grinds through so quickly. But overall, I'm very impressed with how small it is, how precise it is, and obviously how well it works. Maybe a little too well. But we'll call that a win. So that was that one. So what's this one? Forgive the light just hanging in the middle there. It's cable tied to the arm and that, so I'll have to sort that out later. Ooh, more tweezers. These are these ones here. The mechanic, they're angled, they're great. They're just big enough to pick up RAM chips, for example, but also precise enough to use on tiny little capacitors and whatnot. So they're actually really good. One of my favourite sets of tweezers. So I just ordered a spare set of them. They come in this nice fancy case. As you can see there, highly recommend them as well. So yeah, that's those. Again, just a spare set of tweezers. I'm just now realising I should probably leave links to this stuff down below, so I will do that just in case something does intrigue you and you want to check it out. They may or may not be affiliate links, I'm not sure. I'm not a part of the affiliate program at this stage, but I might look into it before this video is posted. So just keep that in mind that they may be affiliated. There we go here. HDMI ports. You never have too many PS5 HDMI ports. It's so notoriously bad. So we've got, I think, 20 of them here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 14, 20, yeah. 20 of them, 20 HDMI ports. Can absolutely never have too many of that. Cool. So that's it. That's what we've got. Let me know what you think. Let me tell me what your favourite one was. For me, I think it's probably going to be the Polarized ring light, or even just the lens itself. It's pretty awesome. I'm almost never going to have to use my anti-glare light anymore, because that is basically its own anti-glare light, so that is well worth the money. I'm so pleased with that. I'll be able to clear up some of my bench, get my anti-glare light out of the way. It's currently taking up a PowerPoint as well as space, so it'd be good to get that off my bench. I don't think I'll have a need for it anymore, so yeah, I'm really happy with that. But yeah, I'll try and leave some links down below. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. Even if you've got any recommendations for something else that you've seen on Aliexpress or you've bought from Aliexpress and you think I should try, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, bell notification so you get updated if we post a future video, and we will see you in that next one.